Hey yo, what is crack-a-lacking? So today's intention is to talk about restoring your purpose. Now this is gonna be directed to all my bros out there, but sometimes, and I'm sure girls will be able to find some value with what I gotta say. But the reason why this is towards all my bros and towards all these guys out there is because at your core, you have masculine energy. Deep inside you, your inner truth, your masculine core, it's your drive, it's your purpose, it's your mission in life. So, a lot of guys out there, and I can totally speak from personal experience, lose their purpose in life, lose their way in life. They get comfortable, they get caught up, or perhaps they never even knew they had a masculine core. Perhaps they weren't even aware of all this. Now, when you don't align your life with your deepest truth, which is, your masculine core, then that's where problems start to arise, depression, being unsatisfied, suffering. That's where suffering comes from. It comes from not living your life to your truth. Now, restoring your purpose, I can't tell you what your purpose is, right? That's only something deep within inside you. But what I can give you are two things that I read up about that fucking blew my fucking mind when it comes to restoring your purpose. And those are austerity and what was the second one? Austerity and challenge, right? Challenge. Now, austerity means to shed away all the comforts in life. TV, for example, YouTube videos, drinking, things that, mind the brain and suppress the feelings of suffering. Now, the whole point of feeling of austerity is to feel your suffering, is to embrace your suffering. Our lives, if you start to look at your own lifestyle, you begin to realize that a lot of your daily routines, things that you do on the daily, may it be smoking weed or, may it be going on Instagram, all that does is distract you away from your suffering. And, that might sound nice, but the only way to live to your truest potential, the only way to get the maximum out of your life, so the only way to live at your edge is to feel through that suffering. It's to fuck that suffering, it's to feel it, to embrace it, to just get yourself all up in them guts, right? And when you do that, when you feel through your suffering, you go to the source of it all. And the source of it all is fear. Now, there's many different triggers of fear, but the one that the one that starts it all, the one that's right at the root of it, is the fear of death. Now, in The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, if I remember this correctly, talks about how your ego, your self-made image of who you think you are, of who you think other people think you are, your external identity, so to speak, that's afraid to die. Anxiety is the perfect example. People get anxious because subconsciously their egos are afraid to die. Their egos fear that if something happens, if this person confronts you, or if this person calls you out on being a liar, or if this person realizes you're not as all that it is to be, you're not all that you make yourself up to be, then you get anxious, you think, oh, I'm gonna be found out. And you might not realize this, but on a subconscious level, that is what's happening. Now, I came across this concept called death before death, right? And austerity, the whole point of practicing it is to die. Is to die before you die. Is to end your ego. Is to get to the root of the problem of fear, to realize that it's death, and then to live your life in a way that you embrace it. Now, this doesn't mean go fucking, punch the biggest fucking neo-Nazi fuck and see what happens. Although maybe, that's a fucking bad idea, don't do that shit. But it's to start living your life to your edge. It's to start going for that project. It's to start that project you've been wanting to do. It's to put out that music that you wanted to do. Like, I got major respect for all these guys in Glasgow that are doing just that are going out there, putting their music out there, that are going out there, starting their own clothing brands, That's their mission, that's their drive in life. And they're going out there and doing it. Now, but at the same time, I see so many guys doing the exact opposite. And I could totally talk from personal experience, because even though I was up and down here and there, I never felt like I was living my life to my fullest. I never felt that I was doing what I wanted to do. And so, thought something fell on my hand. But that's what masculine energy is all about. That's how you live your life to your fullest. You get rid of all the comforts in your life. Your marijuanas, your validation, your your Instagram, your magazines, anything that suppresses that suffering. You gotta get rid of all that shit. You gotta penetrate. You gotta penetrate that suffering to get to the source, to get to that fear, to accept that you're gonna die. Like the moment you're born, you're gonna die. That's the only guarantee we have in life, that we are gonna die. So you might as well accept that shit now, and not just believe it, but just know it, just fully embrace it. Like I mentioned earlier, you gotta fuck that feeling of death. You gotta fucking enjoy it. You gotta fucking 360 backflip on that fucking shit, right? Now the second part is challenge. Now, I mentioned earlier about all these guys doing their thing, doing their businesses, their music and all that. And that's what challenge is all about. It's about going out there and doing. Just that simple. Say you want a car, or say you have something you want to do in life. Say you want to fuck 10 bitches at the same time, right? Like your boy Stun Taylor. That's a challenge. If you go out there, and you might fail, you might not, but if you go out there and follow through with it, then you're aligning yourself with that masculine core inside you, with that mission and drive and purpose in life. And that's how you do it. That's how you regain your purpose. It's by getting rid of the comforts in your life, things that hold you back, things that nullify your suffering. And it's also to embrace more challenges. Do those two things. Watch how the stars are gonna fucking align, and everything's gonna work out for you. Everything's gonna come to you. Everything you want is gonna come to you. You're gonna be so much more happier. And it's you living your life to your fullest. It's you living your more life. So just fucking do that shit. Go out there, embrace suffering, embrace challenge, and enjoy, open, and create.